Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 12, Episode 3 of Tainted Grail Red Death. We are playing turn number 3. Last round, we got into the Ramshackle Wharf, and we were looking around for... We've gotten all of our food, wealth, and magic stripped from us, so we have no ability to gain new food. So, actually, as we march our way through the game scenarios, we are having to make sure that we find food. So one of our quests was to find the gain urban foraging part 4 status. So right now we don't have urban foraging part 4. So we're going to try to do that. So let's jump right into it. So I think I believe that we can place this 406 here. So I guess my idea is, can we go to the Crooked Heap or the Old Port? I'm going to go ahead. We got to pick our random event card. And we get good weather. So our first day of travel costs 1 less. So let's just move down to the Old Port. We get to gain 1 wealth from this, so we can place a wealth in there that can get us started. Let's go right into the exploration mode. We'll look at the Old Port rules. And then if we can't find it this round, we can go to Crooked Heap. For the Old Port, I'll share the card for a second. Oh, we've also have a paint through video. If you want to go check out our paint through video, our minis, we've done paint through videos for Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. We've done paint through videos for Monsters of Avalon, and we've also done a paint through for this set, the actual Red Death. I will show you. Remind me at the end of the round. I'm going to show you the minis from this one, so we can put those up here. So let's go to the old port first of all. It says, the port is the gaping mouth of the ruined city, breathing out mists, extending its many tongue-like stone piers. The silence and calmness of this place is eerie. The only sound you hear is the wild tugging at long red banners hung from the buildings. Tall stockades block all access routes in the port. At the far end of many piers, chests and coffers pile up high. You've heard that the last people to leave the city were forced to abandon all their possessions, and it seems no one took interest in them to this day. But you can't help but wonder what valuables might still be inside. So we're looking for food, we're looking for anything right here. We're looking for urban foraging. Some of our options are look for the port administrative building, examine the stockades, check the chests and coffers, look for some clothing, look for a boat, which requires urban foraging 1. Use the boat in the net, also has requirements. Signal your ship to come aboard, or leave the expedition. Let's try to check the chests and coffers. Go to verse 8. If you don't have the urban foraging 1 status, go to verse 11. So verse 11 says, as you walk down the pier, you notice schools of fish joyfully swimming under the water. They don't mind your company at all. Years without humans have made them oblivious to the dangers you pose to them. If you had a boat and a fishing net, you could probably live off the sea for a very long time. Gain urban foraging part 1 status. So let's go ahead and indicate that. First off, urban foraging part 1 status. And now let's go to it says after that, it says new task is locate the fishing boat and the fishing nets. Go to verse 8. So we're going to go back and look at verse 8. Verse 8 says, if you don't have urban foraging part 1 status, go to verse 11. If you have that status, read on. From the gilded coffers of the rich to the burlap sacks of the poor, the belongings and mementos of thousands of people lie piled up at the end of the piers. Digging through all of them would take weeks, so you only managed to open several of the closest pieces. Roll a die and check your results. So let's go ahead and roll the die here. You get a 6. It says go to verse 12. You find a promising thick oaken coffer with an ornate padlock, which looks like something a wealthy merchant would own. With some well-placed blows of your weapon, you destroy the padlock and open the coffer, only to be instantly overwhelmed by the smell of death. Inside the coffer, 2 small skeletons, still covered in strips of dried flesh, are entwined in an eternal embrace. Judging from the size of their bones, they belong to a pair of children. You try to tell yourself they were probably dead when the owner of the coffer tried to haul them on board. But a more horrid scenario immediately becomes apparent. The guardian or parent tried to smuggle these 2 on board, but was separated from the luggage, leaving them to a slow death from thirst and asphyxiation. If you don't have grim discoveries, each party member gains 1 terror. Each party member gains 1 terror. For every 2 points of their empathy. So 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah. Okay. So we all can do that. And then it says gain the Grim Discoveries Part 1 status. So gain Grim Discoveries Part 1 status and exploration ends. So let me go mark those off. So we've got to mark those. So what have we got? First we got the Urban Foraging Part 1. Urban Foraging 1. Urban Foraging 1. And Urban Foraging 1. And then this next one was Grim Discovery. Grim Discoveries. Grim Discoveries. And Grim Discoveries. Okay, so we've got those. So that's going to end it for the turn. Unfortunately, no food again. So we're not really able to recuperate our food. So let me just double check the rules on that food component. So without the food, end of turn. Eat 1 food. If you do, you restore 1 terror and 1 health, and you restore 1 terror. If you don't have food, drop your energy to 0. So we're going to drop all of our energy to 0 now. Drop, and drop. Restore your energy. Place your marker on track back to the starting stop. Restore your energy. So then we can add 4 more, but for rest, I guess. So we can go up to 4. This is our rest for the next day. Okay, maybe we should continue our search here. We can go stay in this town and keep looking. We're still in the old port. Let's go next day. We will check out, examine the stockades, look for a boat. Requires Urban Foraging Part 1. So we've got the boat. We got the Urban Foraging 1, so let's go to that one. We're going to look for the boat. We go to verse 2. No boat remains in port, unsurprisingly, as people fled Camlin on anything that could float. But as you rest by one of the crude stockades, you notice the prow of a small rowboat jutting out from the many other objects and items incorporated in the structure. Pull out the boat by force, drag the boat out with winches and pulleys, disassemble the stockade, or leave. Let's try to drag out the Let's try to drag out the boat. Requires practicality. 1, 2, 3. Or we can use pull it out by force. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to pull it out by force. Go to verse 15. Okay, it says, it takes some time, but finally you have a boat. Gain the urban foraging part 2 if you don't have it yet. So again, we go back here, urban foraging part 2. Urban foraging part 2, part 2, part 2. And then it says, if you don't have it yet, otherwise go to, we're going to go to 2, 5, 2, 252. So we go to 252 in the Book of Secrets. 252. Okay, it says, the boat is unfortunately useless for now. To make good use of this fishing vessel, you would need a large and sturdy fishing net. Find a fishing net. Hint, if you haven't seen any fishing supplies in the old port, you have to look everywhere in the coastal districts. Exploration ends. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for round number 3. We'll see you guys in round number 4. Before we jump out, quick message from this channel's sponsor. We've got our bookstore link down below. If you'd like to support the channel, we've got the Catu Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence, collecting the 6 volumes of Lovecraftian lore like Genealogy of Cthulhu, Hermeticism of Hastur, Alchemy of Azathoth, Psychoanalysis of Rilya, Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, or the Alchemy of Azathoth. You can buy those individually on our bookstore. You can buy the omnibus edition. We've also got Alchemy and Anthroposophy and the Dune Saga. And we've got August Moldenhauer's Artificial Psychoanalysis of Desiring Machines. Lastly, we've got our new Lovecraft Dreamlands inspired saga. Book 1 will be out shortly. Go check in the bookstore. Alchemical Courtship in the Dreamlands Volume 1. Aim Aimless, Aim Vicious. If you want to hear some podcasts of this, you can listen to our podcast channel. And then we've got Hope's Home and Hysteria's Heart and Stubborn Devotions of Venting and Forgiving. Those are all coming out. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you in round number 4. Click ahead, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.